This video was sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. Sometimes watching anime gets me so hungry, from the steaming bowls of ramen to delicious bento boxes. It's like every dish tells its own mini story. And sometimes the moral of the story is you are what you eat. So as an anime fan, let's feast on anime itself as we make some anime inspired meals from the Gastrono Geek Anime Cookbook. Gastrono Geek Anime, written by Thibaut Villanova, is a collection of 40 recipes inspired by the food found from iconic animes like Naruto, One Piece, Attack on Titan, and many more. The author, Thibaut Villanova, also known as Gastrono Geek, is a chef and author of many geek culture cookbooks. Being from France, his cookbooks are primarily in French language, but luckily some of them do get English translations like this one. Now this is the first unofficial cookbook I'm covering in the channel. I know a lot of you guys suggest to me many unofficial cookbooks, but the reason I gravitate towards official ones is because I find them to be more immersive and less restrictive. I find that unofficial cookbooks have to skirt around the IP and can't include any artwork, photos, or meaningful visuals, which is a bummer because you expect that kind of stuff in a piece of fandom media. I made an exception for this book because I think it still does a great job of capturing the spirit of these animes, even with the limitations of its unofficial nature. The cookbook covers so many iconic animes. I already mentioned Naruto, One Piece, AOT, but there's also Demon Slayer, One Punch Man, JJK, My Hero, Full Metal, Hunter x Hunter, JoJo, and even one of my favorite animes of all time, Great Teacher Onizuka, has a recipe in here. In terms of visuals, you're not going to see any official illustrations of the characters, but the food images all look very tasty, and size-wise, this book is larger than most cookbooks, so these full-page images make the food look even more epic. But the coolest thing is that in a lot of the images you can see prop and sometimes even full cosplays related to that particular anime, which is a really clever way to add that visual anchor that triggers your nostalgia for the show. In terms of the recipes themselves, I find that this cookbook is less beginner friendly than your average geeky cookbook. There are some easy accessible recipes, but I think most of them are more on the intermediate side, requiring more steps and using some more uncommon ingredients, which is a great thing if you're looking to up your cooking game, but if you're looking for something family friendly and easy, then you might be surprised. But don't think of unnecessary things, just make a dish that suits you. In my case, I made 3. Let's check this anime-inspired food out. Now, I want to point out that a lot of these recipes pull from Japanese cuisine because after all, a lot of anime take inspiration from Japanese culture. This is a great way to get a taste of Japan, but you can do that also with these Tokyo Treat and Sakurako snack boxes. Tokyo Treat is a fun and exclusive monthly snack box packed with Japan's coolest and craziest treats straight to you. This month's theme is Konbini Snackin', featuring easy-to-eat treats inspired by Japan's amazing convenience stores. Treat yourself with snacks like these matcha chocolate Kit Kats for a mix of rich green tea with smooth chocolate, or these mini melon pan biscuits that's melony sweet, crispy, and fluffy. And I love munching on this umaibo cheese stick. It's like eating a giant cheese puff. Sakurako is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local makers across Japan. Each box is carefully curated with traditional and seasonal snacks. This month's theme is Taste of Kyushu, inspired by Japan's southernmost main island and its 7 diverse prefectures. Enjoy treats like this black sesame taiko that is delicately sweet and nutty, or this isa senbei, which has a seaweed sweetness that's hard to explain, but honestly it's one of the most interesting and tasty flavors I've ever experienced, and you can wash it all down with some high quality green tea. Aside from the snacks, I also love how they come with booklets that tell you more about the origins of the snacks and fun facts about Japanese culture. If you want to come home to a tasty little surprise every month and experience Japan in the comfort of your own home, then check out these Tokyo Treat and Sakurako snack boxes by using the link in the description or with the code MisoHungrie. It's like having a little piece of Japan right at your doorstep. For our first dish, we're making a hearty and rustic dish perfect for feeding a hungry squad after a long day of fighting titans. Go ahead and steal some potatoes from nearby villages because we're making Hanji's stew. Starting with the broth, grab a big pot and pour in 14.5 cups of water in it. Toss in a leaf of konbu seaweed, 2 dried shiitakes, the ones that I got are already chopped up, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, and 1 bouquet garni, which is a bundle of herbs tied together with a string. The cookbook didn't really specify what herbs, so I just used a combination of parsley, coriander, basil, and thyme. Bring to a boil, and once it's bubbling, go ahead and remove the konbu. It's done its job. Now set the heat to low and let's toss in the veggies, starting with 8 mashing potatoes chopped up into chunks. Sasha's gonna love these. Then 6 carrots also roughly chopped, 3 onions, 8 fresh shiitakes or large button mushrooms, all sliced in half, 3.5 ounces of edamame, you can also use peas as well, and 2 ounces of green beans with the stems trimmed off. Stir it up a bit, then cover the pot and let everything simmer on medium heat for about an hour. After an hour, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and dilute it with some of the broth, then pour that back into the stew and continue to cook for another 10 minutes. Ladle the stew into bowls. If you've got some bread lying around, it would go really well with this too, but for me, I'm just going to take Hanji's stew straight up like this. Now I know we just made soup, but I just gotta make some ramen too. Specifically from Naruto's favorite restaurant in Konoha, we're making the best Ichiraku Ramen. We're going to start off with the dashi broth, as this is going to be the base of our ramen. In a large saucepan, add in 8 cups of water and add in a 1/3 ounce of konbu seaweed and bring it to a simmer. Now add in 6 tablespoons of dried bonito, bring back to a simmer, then remove from the heat. Cover and let it stand for 35 minutes, then drain the mixture. The ramen noodles are going to be swimming in this dashi later. Next, let's prep the aromatic oil. In a small saucepan, add in 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil and fry up a clove of chopped garlic and an inch of chopped ginger. Brown them for a couple of minutes, then remove from the heat and cool. Then place everything in a container, and we're going to be using this aromatic oil later. Now let's work on the chashu pork. The cookbook calls for a casserole dish, but all I got is a stainless steel pot for this. In it, we'll toss in 4 roughly chopped shallots, 2 cloves of crushed garlic, and a 2/3 inch of ginger. Also add in a 1/2 cup and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a cup of sake, a cup of mirin, 6 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 1.5 cups of mineral water. Heat this up on medium to a gentle boil before placing in a pound and 5 ounces worth of pork belly with skin that's been rolled and tied up. The broth was going to overflow, so I transferred all the broth to a bigger pot, and then I just ladled in as much sauce as I can to cover as much of the pork as possible. Cover and pop this in the oven at 302 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for an hour and a half, then lower to 266 degrees Fahrenheit and slow cook for another 5 hours, turning halfway. Once done, the cookbook says that this is set to eat, but for a more traditional preparation, pop it in the fridge for at least 12 hours to firm it up so you can easily slice it, which is what I decided to do. Now let's make the pickled eggs. For this, we need 4 soft-boiled eggs that have been cooked for 6 minutes. Peel and place in a container and cover with 2 ladles of the cooking juice from the chashu pork and 2 tablespoons of water. This smells so good. I'm going to leave this in the fridge overnight to soak in all of that flavor. Next, we're supposed to be making some miso tare. To do this, whisk together a tablespoon of miso, a tablespoon of mirin, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and 2 tablespoons of water until you have a smooth paste. This is going to add some more flavor to our ramen broth. Okay, next day later, our chashu and our eggs have been resting and ready to go, so reheat the dashi and once hot, stir in the miso tare. Let it gently simmer while you get the rest of your ingredients ready. Noodle time, heat up about 4 liters of water to a boil and cook 11 ounces of wheat noodles according to the instructions on the package, usually about a couple of minutes. Drain, rinse briefly under cold water, and then set aside. Now let's assemble our bowl of ramen. Pour in a generous helping of hot miso broth and drizzle a teaspoon of your aromatic oil. Add in the cooked noodles. Top each bowl with 2 halved eggs, 1 to 2 slices of chashu pork, some pickled bamboo shoots, and a sprinkle of chopped spring onions. Finally, a couple slices of narutomaki, a sheet of nori on the side, and you're ready to slurp the best Ichiraku Ramen. Believe it! For our third recipe, we hop on the demon train to enjoy a tasty, meaty rice dish. We're going to prepare our own box of Rengoku's Rengoku Bento. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to prep our green onions by simply slicing 2 spring onions into strips, coating them with vegetable oil, and sprinkle on some fleur de sel. Then bake that in the oven at 392 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 12 minutes. Now we're going to get the beef and onions going by heating up a drizzle of oil in a large pan over medium heat. Add in 2 chopped onions and fry that up for a couple of minutes. Add in 1 cup and 4 tablespoons of dashi or the broth of your choice. I'm just using the same dashi broth I used for the ramen. Also add in a half cup and 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 6 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons of mirin, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and an inch worth of fresh ginger chopped up. Mix that all up, then add 14 ounces of sliced flank steak. Cook this for a couple of minutes until the meat is colored on all sides, then remove the beef and onions and continue to cook the sauce in the pan for another 5 minutes to reduce. After that, add in 7 ounces of drained firm tofu cut into rectangular pieces. Add in a tablespoon of chili paste as well and mix everything together and cook for 5 minutes. Time to assemble our bento. Now the photo in the book is similar to how it looks like in the anime, but I don't have that type of bento box. But I do have this bento box with partitions that I'll fit the different components in, like the rice, beef and onions, spring onions, marinated tofu. For the egg, I'm actually going to be using the egg from the ramen recipe since it sounds so much better than the one from this recipe because of all of the pork drippings. The recipe also calls for some shishito peppers, but I couldn't find any. Still looks like a mighty fun bento to me. Itadakimasu! Let's start off with Hanji soup. Tastes very light, which is to be expected because I find that a lot of dishes from Japanese cuisine have a very light and very pure flavor profile. Even with the dashi, the bouquet garni, and the tomato paste, I don't really taste much. For my particular taste, it could use a bit more soy sauce or salt just to amplify the flavors a little bit more. The veggies are pretty good. Everything is well cooked, but I kind of wish that the recipe called for yellow potatoes instead of mashing potatoes because I find these ones a bit grainy. The edamame and green beans are pretty good too, but my favorite bites are the carrots and the shiitake. Don't think this particular dish is for me, but if you like light and healthy soups, this one might be for you. Is the ramen a bit more flavorful? Yeah, this is more up my alley. Definitely saltier from the miso tare mixture, but still on the light side. I usually gravitate towards really strong ramen broths, like the super spicy ones or the super garlic ones, so I'm not really accustomed to light ones like these. Still pretty tasty though. The aromatic oil is a game changer, giving off such a strong garlic aroma. I already know that I'm going to be making that many times for instant ramen moving forward. The chashu though, unbelievably tasty, and it came out perfect. Tender, juicy, and well seasoned, well worth the hours and hours of waiting for it to cook, but I might try to pressure cook it next time since I have zero patience. The egg is amazing and has that meaty umami essence from the pork juices. The pickled bamboo shoots are perfect. The toppings are just so on point. Definitely gonna double dip back into this recipe just to make the toppings for my instant ramen from now on. Hey, no dessert this time, but instead I'm having bento. The flavor of the beef and onions are pretty good, but I think I overcooked it a little. Either that or I just cut the beef too thick. I also wish that the beef pieces got a bit of a sear. I found that it just boiled in the sauce and it didn't really brown up. Same thing with the tofu. Again, the eggs are just so good. And you know what? The salted and baked green onions are surprisingly addictive. Sometimes I buy too much green onions and I don't get to use them all. But now maybe I'll just bake them all with some salt and just snack on them like this. This is pretty good stuff. So is the Gastrono Geek Anime Cookbook any good? This might be an unofficial cookbook, but I think the theme and all of the different animes that are mentioned stand out pretty well with really interesting and well-crafted recipes. If you love anime and you're not bothered by recipes with more involved steps, then you might want to check this one out.